It absolutely will become more difficult, particularly if your profiling is in any way done around special category data, right? So philosophical beliefs, sexual orientation and stuff like that. So there's a lot of profiling that's either done officially or unofficially using that information. So I think it's very important for any team or company that engages in that kind of thing that they actively assess, are we doing that? Because for an awful lot of companies, they've been doing it for so long they didn't even realize that that's something that's either wrong or something that, now you can still have a legitimate reason for doing that, but it becomes very, very difficult if you're kind of straying into those areas. But in terms of analysis in general, so IBM has just partnered with MasterCard. So MasterCard make a vast majority of their money from actually analytics services, right, on transactional data for their customers, and they're going to fundamentally change the way that they perform analytics. So, as has been mentioned on the panel tonight, they're going to look at just changing the way they do analytics, not so much focusing on the personal side of things. If there's consent, they'll still try and do that, but they're kind of moving things up. They're going to anonymize the data, they're going to aggregate it. It's all and they're working very, very closely then with the various DPAs to make sure that's lawful and that it's anonymized, because it's very, very difficult to do true anonymization, but because of the scale of what they do and the importance to their business, they're investing massively in it. So we're working very closely with them to do it. So it's a complete fundamental change the way they conduct analytics. So we work with a lot of big financial institutions, insurance companies and companies like that, right, who, given their scale and the amount of data that they have, AI and automation and being able to automatically make decisions and all that would be hugely beneficial and cost efficient and maybe make better decisions and all that. Around transparency, then being able to explain that to an end user who might know nothing about IT or applications or even how businesses work, to try and say, here's a very, very complicated set of algorithms that we're struggling to understand ourselves, to try and make that transparent to an end user, to say, it comes in this end, it comes out that end, and here's all the things that happen in between. That's a huge struggle. It's a struggle for us internally to understand how our complicated AI is actually what it's doing and how it's managed to make decisions. To try and explain that to an end user is very, very difficult. Well, the big thing, and just dealing with GDPR in general and having conversations with people, these kind of events are fantastic because I would have had very little interaction with communications people, the kind of concerns that they have, the fact that they're also representing a whole host of different companies as well. It's like dealing with accountants or tax experts. They are kind of embedded in a lot of companies. It just kind of broadens that network. You get a greater understanding of other people's views around GDPR. I largely come at it from a technical point of view and trying to get buy-in at a high level. Specific organizations then, like PR companies that are very fast moving, and it's great. That's a huge thing for me. So.